Morning. Here we go. I got my selfie stick today. You know, took me a little bit extra to get going, but that's because of where my thoughts have been lately. And I think a Stoic called Epictetus quoted, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it that matters. And past few days, I was talking about how my why and being scared, so that's what's motivating me. But it's also something that you think about is that it's mediocrity. So I was thinking about Plato's Utopia. We read that in a college course when I was in the Army. I was taking some extra college courses, and we had to read it. And he was talking, even in Utopia, there's going to be a need for knob turners. And that word mediocrity came up, and I was thinking, well, I've done some really exciting things. I've climbed the pyramids in Mexico and Tulum and Chichen Itza and another in Corba, and I've rock climbed down there and stuff. And then I've jumped out of airplanes, I've ridden motorcycles, I've surfed, I've skydived, I fell off a roof. So I've done some exciting things, but there's also been times when my life has been pretty mediocre. Now, I like to looking back on it, it'll be more events of that were challenging me and exciting to me than just mediocre, but they're there, and I think we all go through this. And I think, now this is my opinion. Oh, did I say it? Hi, I'm Dave. I like to take you guys out on these walks. And today we're doing the selfie stick so that you can actually get a good look at me instead of my nose hairs. So, welcome and thanks for joining me on this as I go on this rant about mediocrity and how we can fight it. But I do think when people get into into a rut and are stuck in mediocrity, they're not happy, and then it shows. And you see this a lot with YouTube trolls and Facebook. On Facebook you see it a lot, and so these people are just not happy with their lives, and I've been there. I've made stupid comments, so it's, and I wasn't in a happy place. Split my pork beard there. Squirrel. So, what do you do when you find yourself in this mediocrity? When you're stuck in a rut and you're not happy with your situation? Well, hopefully you pull your pants up, you put on your big boy pants, as they used to say. I don't know if they can say that anymore. Anyway, I'm saying it. And you got to buck up and do it. Now, I'm a perfect example of that's easier said than done at times, because I was stuck for many years. But you got to reach that point when you figure out, all right, I need to flip that switch and make the change. So my question to you is, and hopefully you can hear me with this wind here, and my apologies. I might have to get one of those mic things. But hopefully, you'll make the mindset switch and change that from mediocrity to doing something about it. So I have these projects. As I'm coming around my lap here, I'm looking at the police Explorer that I got, and I was looking up different things on how to fix it up. So we're getting ready to start that project. I'll probably do a separate channel for that because this channel is more about just me and my physical and mental journey. And even though that will help, let me see if you can see it. Nope. There it is. So that'll probably be a different channel. But oh, check out my shirt. And I know it's giving away my password, but my password is the last 8 digits of pi. If you know, you know. Anyway, so I want to put to anyone that's out there that happens to be listening or watching this, that if you feel you're stuck in a rut, or if you're just mediocre and things are not going, you're living to paycheck to paycheck and you're not sure what you're to do, you think you're a wage slave, all those buzzwords and all that thing that we can think we're stuck in, and it's, you know, it's society's fault, it's your manager's fault, it's the company's fault, they don't care about you and stuff like that. No, you can do it. Don't think that all is lost and you have no options. You're going to be a wage slave forever. You're going to be stuck in a horrible job. You're not going to make any more money. You're going to be always living paycheck to paycheck and stuff like that. Well, remember, when the moment comes and you make the decision that that's not going to be your narrative, don't let the companies write your narrative. Don't let other people write your narrative. If you're in a group of friends that all they do is complain, you know, start distancing yourself from those so-called friends. If you don't have friends that are trying to lift you up and motivate you to do better, or they ask you truly how you're doing, and they say, well, all right, let's do this, they're really friends, then good. If they're not, distance yourself. Put yourself around people who are successful. Learn from them. You should always try to be not the smartest one in the bunch, but also hopefully not the dumbest one in the bunch, because, you know, I've been there and stuff. But flip that switch. Start writing your own narrative. You can do it. A comedian came to my mind, and when he was on, he always works with Adam Sandler, and he's like, "You can do it." Anyway, sorry, another squirrel moment. But it's true, and I'm making light of this, but it is so true. You know, sometimes we are our biggest naysayers in what we can do and what we can accomplish, and that's not the truth. The truth is, you can look at that nice, beautiful color. You can do so much more, and you don't have to say, "Oh, I'll never be a rocket scientist. I'll never be a doctor, a lawyer, and stuff." Well, if you want to do that, you can truly do that. But if it's not your passion, then don't worry about it. I mean, you know, to be a rocket scientist, to be a doctor and stuff, that takes a certain, you know, way of thinking to do that. And if it, I know some doctors get bitter and stuff, but most of them start off with a passion to help people, or sometimes it's family pressure, but I mean, for the most part, you should have a passion for what you do. And I was reading a book called Ikigai, and it gave like the real definition of Ikigai, which is the Japanese definition, which is a little bit different from the Americanized version of finding your Ikigai, where you have the like Venn diagram, and you make 3 circles, and where those 3 circles intersect, that's your Ikigai. Well, an Ikigai in reality is just finding out what brings you joy in life and doing that. And it doesn't have to be something that actually you get paid for. But here with the American version, I kind of like that too, because you find what brings you joy, and what can also provide a need or answer a need for the public that they're willing to pay for. And so that intersection there and that passion, that becomes an Ikigai. So I like that. I like them both, because to find your Ikigai and stuff, you find that passion. Love that green. Look at that. Look at these color of these flowers. If you can see it. There we go. If you can see that. That's just incredible. Sorry about that. I do get distracted on these walks. That's why I always say squirrel. Like in that movie Up, that dog with the cone, he's like, squirrel? Anyway, so I do like the American version too, because then you're finding something that you do and you can also make a living off. Well, you know, so flip that narrative. That's all I want to say today, because the past couple of days I've been doing a couple of videos, and they should be coming out in order. So that, yes, I talk about how I'm scared about my plaque buildup in my arteries and my mortality. You know, I'm coming to grips with that, and I'm fighting my depression. But I do have good days. I still have a lot of pain and stuff, but I'm pushing through it. So like that quote I was saying, you know, it doesn't really matter what happens to you, it's how you react to it. So that's what I am working on, and I'm glad you guys are here and you're giving me such wonderful comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So that's been such a wonderful motivator for me to keep going, besides my being scared out of my wits about having my arteries blow open. Oh, here's a visual. Anyway, but so it's not all doom and gloom, is what I'm trying to say. And I want you guys to think about, if you're not happy with life, what can you do to change it? Because you can change it. I'm a perfect example of this. I wasn't happy where I was. I was getting fatter and fatter. Can you even use that word anymore? Well, I did. And I had to do something. So I'm taking action. And I'm also, you know, increasing my miles. Now I know companies are not going to hire me. I mean, I look 80 years old. So I'm coming to terms with that, but that doesn't stop me from learning new things. Because if I can learn how to become fiscally responsible and build our portfolios up and build our cash reserves up, so that when we do travel the world, we don't need a lot of money. We can get by with what we have and enjoy. And maybe this YouTube thing blows up and I make some extra money from that. It's not really about that for this. It would be nice, but right now I'm just trying to work on my narrating skills and my storytelling skills, and it's also a vent. It helps me vent, so I thank you for that. But that's basically what I wanted to talk about on this walk today. Thanks for joining me, and remember, don't settle for mediocrity. You are so much more than that. You know, find your ikigai and stuff. Do what you need to do. It's not going to be easy, but you're going to find that when you do take those steps and you make that move, you're going to find that it gets easier. And from almost like from one day to the next, you're going to feel and see that change that happens. So, wish you guys all the best, and God bless.